All right.
By the way, look at this. Look at this. My cat.
That's 6? That's the famous 6?
That is the famous 6. She's hanging out right next to her daddy.
It says on your Instagram, it says father of 6, and I thought, I was like, when the fuck did he have 6 kids? But no, it's a cat.
Yeah.
I'm like,
That's
he's
running gag, and I did a whatchamacallit? I did a roast, and someone was looking to make fun of me, and they read it like, because it said father of 6, and then it had a cat emoji. It was even funnier. They're like, this loser has 6 cats. I'm like, I don't have 6 kids or 6 cats. But I thought it was so funny they read it like that.
right. Well, then they should have looked at you and said, "Oh, it's an Italian white guy, not a black guy. He would know his kids. I mean, he would hate them, but he knows them at least." You know, it's like Jesus.
Now you're doing my lines. I love it. That's great.
Listen, Geno, the reason why I'm a fan of you is because we think very similarly. You know what I mean?
Oh, we do.
And we were saying just before, I'm telling you right now, and this is not a kiss ass thing, I didn't know about your guys' show until I got to be a guest on it. And since that day, I have not stopped watching it. I see it almost live every morning. And when I can't, I watch it after. The 4 of you, I hate saying the 2 of you, the 4 of you are brilliant on that show. In Hot Water,
dude,
is the funniest thing.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for putting it like that, because I couldn't agree more. It's like, the thing that's great about our show is we're 4 guys, like you just said, and we're trying to crack each other up. There's no ego. Hold on one second. Oh, yeah. I don't even have food. There's no, I'm about to turn to my fan. Tell me if this fucking makes a distracting noise. Is it okay? We're good?
I don't hear shit. It's fine.
Perfect. It literally is. There's no ego. It's like the 4 of us, it's 4 guys just trying to make the other 3 dudes laugh. And it just fucking shows. You know what I mean? And thank you for noticing that, buddy. That means a lot coming from a guy like you.
When I watch it, by watching Compound, I knew Garrett was funny and was like a hidden gem on the other shows he's been on, the things he's on.
He's a genius.
But who knew Steve? Steve is fucking hysterical. And how you guys kind of, it almost seems like you put him in that spot where it's like he could have failed, but he has risen and he rides with it and he adds to it so well. I mean, but to me, I think you are the unsung hero. And I've told people this because Aaron is brilliant doing the characters, all that stuff. You have to seriously interview. One of my favorite episodes ever is you interviewing all the San Francisco Giant mascots with Jimmy the Retard, the Crazy Crab.
Yeah.
You were and you have sports knowledge. Aaron has none. Aaron's making it up. You're trying to make it seem real. And I've introduce people to your show by making them watch that episode and just saying how insane it was and how on board you kept going with it. Like, so when did you get made the mascot Jimmy the Retard?
Dude, fucking, what's his name said it just this week. Bill Schultz, because you probably saw this week when we had the competitive eater, George Chigger, and we love him. And they showed the end the guy fucking a pumpkin. And I'm like, now let me go back here. Now, why? It seems like you're hate fucking the pumpkin here. And he's like, and Bill's like, he's fucking a pumpkin, and you're making it a legitimate interview. I'm like, now, can we go back to the beginning of this interview? And the guy's fucking the pumpkin in the background. I'm like, do you get to play chess a lot? There's an unpacked chessboard. I'm like, you don't look like you're getting to play a lot of chess lately. And it's stupid. It's so stupid. But that is what it is, Pat. It's a free-for-all, and I'm like acting like a serious guy going, now, let me explain something.
But you guys all play your roles well, but it doesn't feel like you've been told to play. A lot of times you can watch a show and go, and you bring up Bill Schultz, and I'm not trying to be dick. They're fine. Morning's good. They're fine.
Right. They are what they are.
But they are. When I talked to Keith about it once, I'm like, it's making fun of what Regis and Kelly were. It's basically what that is. It's an extreme version of that. If you like that,
I always say it's good. It's a Good Morning America if they could say fuck. That's all it is.
Yeah, that really is all it is. But they know their roles as well. But it feels like they've been told roles. You guys seem like you and Aaron obviously have a great chemistry, but it doesn't feel like you either tell each other, do this, do that. It's like we have a plan, but we can go where we want with it because the other one can play off each other. It's
actually, I'll one up it. I'm giving myself some iced coffee. If we had a plan, it would never work. You know what I mean? Because like, the show is so, like, it was like a year ago, and we had our boy Mike on, Mike Ward, in from Canada. He does the Friday show. And, they were giving us props on fucking, thank you for putting up with me while I walk around. I do everything. They were giving us props, on Anthony's show, and Mike Ward goes, In Hot Water is so funny. He's like, do they have writers on that show? and fucking Anthony lost his mind laughing. You know, and we all did when we watched it. Like, do we have writers? Yeah, that's great. Because we get it. Because the show is, if we tried to plan it, it would be a mess. The show is literally, I say it all the time. Aaron will fucking send me 5 fucking stories that he read, or that mostly our fans tweeted to us, and I'll say one thing in the morning from the walk-in, and that'll become the show. And we don't even know where it's going to go. Because if we try, Aaron has done before. You've seen shows where Aaron's like, this guy's going to be great because he thought of something the night before, and then he's trying to remember what he thought of it, and it's just not good. It's not bad, but it's not as good as when we act like idiots in the fucking, just spur of the moment and stuff.
And I thought if all the shows that would have been suffering with all this quarantine and having to separate you guys would have been yours because of how great you were all together. And that first day or so, it did feel weird that Aaron was in Delaware and trying to put the black and white mouth over the thing. But I don't even know. Oh my God, it was weird. It was just a movie. But it also made me feel like, oh, everything's okay in a weird way because that's my morning. I get up in the morning, I do a little writing, I get coffee, and by 9 o'clock, I sit there. One of your fans, Stevie M, he puts the 5 minutes before whatever, and I always
toodly door, whatever that is.
I don't know what it is either, but one day I was liking it every day because I enjoyed it, and then he wrote a thing that the guy was. A lot of your fans are very sad and depressed. They're all about to kill themselves. You're going to lose your listenership real soon, but they've also become fans of mine because I've been on all the different shows. So I've become friendly with them.
Oh, they loved when you were on the show. Because like when fans jump, and especially when chicks do it, but when people like you jump right into the madness, they're like, you had one line on me. They were retweeting like crazy. It was so fucking great. Because I love when we put our guys we love like you on, and the fans are like, this guy's great. We would have never heard him. We're like, we knew he was funny before you even saw the guy today. It's so great.
And that line is in twat water, and I was very proud of when
twat water, yes!
Because you were whining and complaining about something, as I know, and I'm sitting there.
Is this in twat water?
I was sitting there in between you and Trinity St. Clair, and I'm like,
yeah, delicious.
She's not my cup of tea, but she's not gross. But I'm just saying it's not my cup of tea.
Yeah, now we all have our different cup of tea when it comes to porn. Like I like the ones I'm working lately are Audrey Bettoni, and I always like Madison Ivy, but I've gotten away from her, and I can't think of the other one now. Aletta Ocean. Like I'm doing the brunettes with the big tits lately. How about you?
I usually go for the brunette. I don't really care about giant tits or anything, but I do skew young, and it always is like, the ones that look like they're 22, 23, whatever. I'm not a MILF person, whatever that. I'm more genre, and I'll find someone I like in it. But usually my problem is my life can't go well. Even when I like a porn star, they do a thing I hate, like Real Women. So it's like they'll be in this thing where I'm like, oh, I like this girl. Let me look her up. And then she just does feet shit. And I hate feet. And I'm like, why are you doing this to me? Fuck off. And all I can find is feet jerk off or whatever you call it, foot job. And I'm like, I hate feet at all costs. So now I hate the girl and I'm mad at her and I can't talk to her anymore. So I basically just jerk off.
She ruined it for you.
They all do.
She ruined it for you.
They all do. Dirty foot whore. What do you need your foot for? First of all, if you're a guy and you need a foot on your dick, you don't like women's hands on your dick. You don't like women.
I love feet on women, but I hate foot porn. It's literally that. Like if I'm fucking a chick, I like missionary, I like the feet, I'll suck on her toe, but I don't want her jerking me off with the foot. I don't need that. I agree with you there. But some people just hate feet.
Well, I do like feet on a woman. I don't want a stub woman. I don't want anybody without feet. Right. I can't. I don't know that. I've never been with a stub. Maybe I'd love it. Who knows? I don't want a finger in my ass. Maybe a stub. I'll take. Watching Aaron put a bike seat in his ass changed my whole day. That was your reaction to that was beautiful because you turned around. And I had actually taken a little video and posted it. I was watching it live, and I'm like, "What's going on?" You just turned you in. All right, yeah. And he's like, and you just kept going.
Because he committed to that bit. He was not fucking around.
And if you're someone that knows the behind the scenes like me, I was just texting Ari saying, hey, when's the next time I can come on Kumia? And then I see he's there, and that's his bike getting fucked as he is.
Yeah. Ari just walks into a shitstorm and stuff after he came with the bike. He's like, what do you do with that bike? He's like, I'm going to go fuck it.
Yeah. And he's like, okay, that's great. Can I still book your show? Can I be on? Like, you can't be on, but you can book
imagine,
people.
or he's like, well, it's a joke, right? It's a bit, and then he's watching in disbelief while the bike seat goes into his ass. He's like, he really was fucking my bike.
Now, okay, I guess that's the question. I don't want to pull the curtain. It wasn't in his ass. It was just between his cheeks. That wasn't penetration.
I'm not a doctor, but it was in there enough for me to fucking think it was genuine. I don't know if it broke the rim of the anus, but as far as I'm concerned, and I'm sure you'll agree, he fucked that butt.
I enjoyed you putting the foot up to pull out with the back because you knew that bike was going to fall. You could have fell very easily in that move.
I couldn't leave him on his own there. I had to let people know I wholeheartedly supported him. I would not leave him with his ass hanging out literally.
Like COVID is making people forget about 9/11. That bike seat fucking made people forget that you did cocaine with Larry Bia. Like it was exactly the thing you needed to move on.
Cocaine with Larry Bia.
Oh, yeah. I know. It was one of my favorite.
That is the universe providing. I've never been more hungover. I'm like, I'm not going to make it. And he walked in with cocaine. I'm like, I'm doing cocaine. Fuck it.
I'm actually having Larry on tomorrow.
He's great.
Live from white people's houses in Fairfield County.
Oh, he's so fucking. He's literally invading two of our fans. I don't know how the universe works, but he's literally in the house next door to them. I don't know how that happened.
Well, it happens because you guys have, and Compound Media has the greatest fan. When I first went on there, people warned me they're going to tear you apart. They're evil. They're this and that. And yeah, if they don't like something, they do that. But if they like you, holy shit, I've never felt support like that. Like the second I recorded my pilot, they were all on board. Yeah, I mean, who knows what's getting picked up or not? I mean, because all this shit going on, haven't heard a no yet. They're waiting, whatever. But the simple fact, they're always like, hey, when's Pat getting back on? What's he doing? I've been on Kumia 10 times in 1 year, and mostly because they like me. I don't think Anthony even knows my name yet, but they've so enjoyed me. I've been on your guys' show twice. I was just on Jameson. In Hot Water, I did that montage thing you did too, where we had to answer questions and shit.
Yeah.
Where Figs just said I was creepy. I'm like, fuck you, of all people.
Oh, the wet spot. You said in a wet spot. Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. I've been on all there, and everyone's been so supportive. It's been like really nice, and they've had my back. If someone else tries to shit on me, they get protective of us, which I really enjoy.
Yeah, we're very loyal. We take care of our own. We do, And when we had you on, we'd known you on. When we put you on, we're like, you're gonna love this guy, and it just makes us look good. When we had Amanda Gale on last week, and they're like, oh, who's she? And then we put her on, and we're doing that bit with Carnad. You probably saw it.
Yeah.
And the Carnad bit is that he calls her Berg, and Berg's not there. And then Berg's like, did anyone call? And we all say no. And fucking Garrett always says yes, and Berg trashes the place. And Amanda Gale's watching. She's like, what the fuck is going on? And Berg comes out. She's like, did anyone call? I'm like, Amanda. No. I'm like, no one called Amanda. Did anyone call? And she literally goes, no one called at all. Why? And then Garrett goes, what about Carnad? And she's like, God damn it. So great. Like, I think that's another thing that I love about our show, and it shows. Like, it's not just four guys cracking each other up. When, like I've been in radio so long, and I remember I've been in radio so long, I just said I've been in radio. You know what I mean?
Yes.
But when you first got started in radio, when I did, like, it was back when radio was big, and you would have DJs who sucked. And I always call it the Bruno Kirby phenomenon. Now, that is, Bruno Kirby played the producer on Good Morning Vietnam. And I don't know if you saw that movie. I haven't seen it in ages. But the one thing that always stuck out is Bruno Kirby sucked. And he's one of those producers that think they're funny and hate the talent because they think they're funnier. And I've run into shit like that. But you also had radio personalities when I first started who didn't want you to be funnier than them. So on a scale of 1 to 10, they thought they were a 10, but they were a 4. And they tried to keep you down to 3. There's none of that on our show.
No.
On our show, it's like, we are all so funny. And now we brought our friend Pat on, our friend Amanda on, and wait till you see how funny they are. So we never get in their way. You know what I mean? And they know, like the thing about our show is, as many people as we have, there's very rarely talking over each other, because on our show, unlike others, we all want to hear the other guy be funny. We're like, dude, make me laugh, and it's great. And people that get it, and you're definitely one of them, it just fucking makes our show that much better and that much more fun. And that's all we're trying to do. Fucking have a blast with it.
But I do like when I watch and there's a guest and they've never seen the show and they think they're getting interviewed. That you're one of the shows that you do need to watch first at least once to understand there's a rhythm to it. And you guys
can't be explained.
Right.
I'm sorry to interrupt you, but if you say to someone, it's like Chip Chipper on our show. It's like, what's In Hot Water? You got to watch an episode. I can't explain it.
I've tried to tell people. I can't. I just say it's everything you never thought you'd want to hear at 9 a.m., but at 10:30 you're very happy you did. You know what I mean?
Oh my God, that's fucking great.
It's exactly. It's the closest thing I've gotten to when I was much younger Howard Stern, not older piece of shit now.
Yeah.
But back because of the looseness, and once the more you know the characters, instead of having a whack pack, Aaron is the whack pack. Aaron is all these people that are recurring human beings.
He literally is.
And so is Steve now, and even Garrett, beep, boop, 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 all that. It's all these little things. Garrett is the Fred. Like they're all there, and it's like they all add these things to it that's so brilliant that the more you watch it, you can watch for more things. There's inside jokes if you watch all the time. But if you don't, you can still laugh jumping in day one. And it's amazing that way. But if you're a guest and you don't get the show, you get lost. But you guys are very good at not making them be buried, but you don't let them slow down your momentum either.
Yeah. And sometimes we get guests that are just like, because Ari, and he's great, our producer Ari, the guy with the bike, well, the guy that brought the city bike in, he books people for us, so we always have guests, and sometimes he'll get guys like, who the fuck is this guy? And they'll just be like, dolts. They'll be like, right. I'll say it, they'll be like, they're squares, Pat. They're real squares, Bill, you know?
Oh, wow. Lamos. Total lamos. You know what I mean?
Nerds, not gay nerds. And we'll just do shit, and they'll be like, what? And we won't stop. They'll like act like they're put off, like, what? It's a joke, you know? And
right.
and sometimes they'll just, like one guy was it was 2 weeks ago, this former Navy SEAL.
I watched that one.
Remember? And God bless him. He's doing what he loves. Kidding. God bless him. He's done 19 things. He was a Navy SEAL. He wrote books, and now he's teaching meditation classes. And Berg does the old, what do you meditate to? And he says like some 8 chakra. And Berg goes, I meditate to blonde on black porn. No, he doesn't. God forgive me. He didn't say porn because that would. He goes, I meditate to blonde on blacks, and I'm like, no, Aaron, that's the wrong thing. And then I do it again. I'm like, hold on, let's try it again. I'm like, what do you meditate to? And the dummy tells us again. I'm like, and Aaron, what do you meditate to? And he goes, big Asian dongs. And I'm like, again, Aaron, you're not. And the guy's like getting put off by. We're like, what? You know?
But it did feel like he got something was happening at least. Like he knew, I'm being made fun of, but I also could kill these guys if I needed to. So exactly. I was fine with that. The one thing that your show at the beginning, when I first started watching, it was so gay. It was like the most gay. Like you have pulled back. And one of my favorite episodes is right when all this started happening, when Aaron had to sit you down and be like, no racism. And then he was like harder on the gay. And it's just like,
yeah.
That was
and someone said, if you don't, because I have no say over the videos. It's like, I'm just the guy, I'm JFK Jr. trying to hit Nantucket for fucking 90 minutes, just trying to steer it. And when they put gay porn up, I had nothing to do with it, you know? And Berg and fucking those guys are in the booth, and I'm like, all right, fine. And then they're like, but that's when someone said, it's like, all right, if she can't do black jokes, she can't do gay porn. And Berg's like, all right, I'm on.
Right. But it's even that, like, when I try to explain to people, they're like, oh, it's just race, it's just homophobic. It's like, it's exactly the opposite. And I know this sounds like whatever when you say it, just they're joking about everything. Nothing's off limits, so everything is okay. It's not against, you have shit on every side. And it's hard on Compound because the one thing you're not allowed to make fun of is like the right. Like, you know, not that they don't say that, but that's a thing. I don't know what you were politically before there, but they can change your mind real quick about certain things and watching stuff. I know you hate Rachel Maddow now, and I'm not a fan.
Here's the thing, though. Like, I never, and they make fun of me, but they're calling me tinfoil at Geno now. Like, they took away sports from Geno, so now he's watching all this shit. But I'll say it. I said this on a different. The reason, and I am watching Ozark now, and it's starting to frustrate me in season 2. Here's the plot of Ozark. They fix the problem in one episode, and whenever went well, they find a way to fuck it up for the next one. Whatever. But it's hard for me to get into this stuff because the best reality show right now is what's going on in the world.
Yes.
Fucking between the right's view on it, the left's view on it, the conspiracy theory views on it. I can't get enough. And the thing that drives me nuts about Rachel Maddow is you've seen me. It's like if Walter Kronkite came back from the dead, well, after he said he'd be like, this is hilarious. He would literally watch her show and be like, yeah, that's hilarious. That is why we don't put broads behind the desk, because she reports the news Like she's like you're watching an 8th grade film. I tweeted this. It's a perfect, like when they used to show you those 8th grade films on smoking grass and try and terrify you. This is what's going on, and I'm going to show you the numbers. And what a dumb, dizzy cunt. Just report the news, and they give you half the story. And this is why I have no problem doing it, because when Obama was in office, I would make fun of the Republicans, because the Republicans were the crotchety old idiots that were set in their ways, and I didn't look that deeply into it, but whenever fucking you had a Republican that looked like he was about to challenge, they dig up a Republican that was 90 and said, I had sexual congress with a colored woman, and I think my children actually have a soul. They would say something dumb like that, right? Now it's the Democrats that are just like, everything is just to fucking terrify you. They're like, we have more fucking cases and deaths in the U.S. than anywhere else because we have more people here. Because the state of Texas is larger than the country of Italy and Germany combined, okay? And of course we have more fucking people sick here because we're reporting the actual numbers. But we have the lowest fucking mortality rate. But for some reason, I guess they only do 55-minute shows on MSNBC because they don't have time to tell you that they have time to tell you we have the most fucking illnesses and the most fucking deaths, but they don't tell you that if you divide by the population here, we have the lowest mortality rate. It's weird. It's weird that they just don't have the time to do that.
But that station has always been that way. I'm not a political guy. The only time I got into it was actually when Obama was running for president. I started to pay attention. And the reason why I did was I was a sports guy, and Keith Olbermann flipped over to there. And I'm like, I like Olbermann, so I'll watch him. But he started being that way. And I would catch, because it would be Chris Matthews, then it would be Olbermann, and then afterwards, Rachel Maddow was on afterwards. So sometimes if I kept it on, I'd watch it. And Olbermann at least did it in a way where I'm like, well, he's still a funny sports guy, whatever. I like him. Maybe Dan Patrick will show up. And then Maddow would show up. And then she would even go harder than he was, but she's so fucking unlikable. At least Olbermann had a little likability, and I was like, at the end of the day, I'm like, his mom did get hit in the face by a Chuck Knobloch throw, and that's hilarious. So I can cheer that on. But yeah, that channel is all of them do that, but they've always been that way. So I always thought it was funny that when Fox News years later, everyone's like, they're skewing things. I'm like, they all skew shit. They're all just trying to get you to know their one side so they can get you to buy the dumb shit that's being sold so they can keep you on so they can all become rock stars. There is no Kronkite. There's no one who tells the news anymore. They're the personality. No. That's it.
And you have to draw your own conclusions. And look, I have no problem with liberals, with Democrats. I just have problems that my friends, I find myself snapping at friends, and I always say, sorry, I yelled at you. It's not that I hate you. If I hated you, it'd be like, I'd walk away. Like we deal with someone, but I care about you. And when I was saying, hey, the curve is flattening, and my friend texts back, it's not over yet. And I scream, I call her up and scream, like, stop listening to these people. They've brainwashed you. That is not the response. It's not over yet. You know, I said it before, Democrats, I'm sorry we're going to get through this. I'm sorry that this virus that Japan, that shows how dumb I am, that China launched isn't as effective as they like. And I'm sorry that people are going to live far more than they thought. And I'm sorry that Trump's going to get reelected. I'm sorry. But you've got to stop being so negative about it, because we're going to get through. And just a few minutes ago, I put up another, I'll never get, like you saw my Facebook post that got 750 comments, 730 of which were just, if you divide it by two, 750, it's what? It's 375. It's two people that had 375 comments each going back and forth with each other yelling. But
you just Rain Man the fuck out of that, by the way, just so you know. That was very Rain Man.
I've always been good with math. I should have said it was 4 people and divided it a second time, but I couldn't do 375. What's that? 150 and 37. Yeah, 224.5. Look, here's my point. I just put out another picture that said, keeping sick people inside is a quarantine. Putting healthy people inside is tyranny.
I literally have it on my Instagram. I was about to ask you that next.
And somebody underneath wrote, well, you know, if you want to stay healthy, stay inside. I'm like, it depends how you define healthy. If you think getting the coronavirus and being the 99.9%, and it literally, with 99%, it's going to, when all is said and done, be 99.9% of people that survive. If you don't think that's healthy, then I understand. Then you should stay inside. Okay? But I'm sorry that you fucking lived your life terribly. And right now, you're younger than 51. And you don't feel healthy. And you're immunocompromised. Or you fucking have lung cancer. Hold on. I'm sorry. But you can't take my rights away because you didn't live well. If I'm on the subway, if this is a subway car right now and we're this close, literally 4 inches, and I cough and you cough, I'm going to be like, I hope you're not sick, buddy. But I won't be like, I'm going to die. But if you're like immunocompromised and you're like, don't cough on me, I had cancer once, I'd be like, what the fuck are you doing on this subway car? Go home. Go home till this is handled.
But, Geno, that person that commented is probably a nurse, and she just finished making a sweet TikTok dance. So how dare you not listen to her? She's very busy. They're very busy.
I didn't even see this TikTok dance I'm hearing about that people are half are up in arms about, half the people are like, no, it's a good thing. What was the big deal about it?
Well, it's not. It's a big deal. TikTok has all these trends. It's like,
right, I know what TikTok is.
You do these dances. Now, the problem, all these nurses, because they are doing it in their supposedly downtime from all the work they're doing. But
yeah.
But they're so busy, supposedly. I had to go to the ER 2 weeks ago. I have hypertension. I'm like, I had to get glasses now.
I've talked to you 10 minutes. I'm shocked you have hypertension.
My blood pressure, though, was at 170 over 120 2 weeks ago. I went and they were like, dude, they started scanning. And they said if I wasn't running every day, I'd probably be dead. I went to the ER at 12:30 at night, right? Well, it was 1 a.m. I was the only person in the fucking ER in a busy hospital. So to tell me, this is 2 weeks ago. So during this quarantine where everyone is dying and the world's in the hospital and every nurse is so busy, where the fuck was everybody? Nobody was there. I had the place to myself. All the nurses weren't allowed to, they had to wear their masks. They couldn't have makeup on. They were bitching about that. They couldn't drink water or coffee. So if they want to break, they have to take IV because they can't take the mask off. So they have to do IV rounds for their breaks. So
are you kidding me?
They were bitching all to me while I was sitting there getting my EKGs and my brain scans. They were whining. And I think I'm dying during this thing. And they're like, well, I can't have coffee right now. It's like, all right.
Jesus. Yeah, the thing is, it's like, you have to, and that proves my point as well. It's like, look, I'm not saying that some places aren't overcrowded. And I'm not saying it's not an actual virus, but I'm saying you have to see for yourself and make your own decisions. Like, I go out and I take the subway 4 times a week, sometimes 5 if we do the Friday show. And I don't go out and I'm not worried. It's like, I thank God every day that I have something, because I get to go outside and I get normalcy for like the half hour I walk. And 3 out of the 4 days this past week, I walked, the 50, no, it's, what is it? I'll do Rain Man again, 34, 104. Yeah, 70 blocks. I walked the 74 blocks, the 70 blocks home. And I'm getting that exercise because I honestly believe, and doctors have confirmed this, and I don't mean like I'm a genius. It's common sense. If you fucking hole up, if you're completely healthy and you sit in your apartment 24/7 for a week, the brain's the smart thing, and the brain's going to be like, we must be sick. We must be sick, right? Because this is what sick people do. And, the body will follow the brain and be like, yeah, we're sick. And your immunity goes down. I can't imagine,
I'm hoping the first day in medical school, they look at them and say, the brain is a smart thing. That's the first thing you guys need to know.
Yeah.
If you want to know,
exactly what I put on the tweet. I'm like, you need to be mentally healthy as well as physically more than ever right now.
Listen, I've always been running, but I started running more because I live in an area where there's going to be looting if it gets worse, and I want to chase them down and get my shit back. I got to be able to do it. I've got a loud bark, but I'm going to be able to handle it.
Do you run with like pieces of property just to practice? Like you carry your flat screen, you take your fucking microwave, all that shit, just to stay in shape?
I actually take other people's shit, but just to prove a point. You know what I mean? I'm not stealing it. I'm a white guy. I'm 45.
You want to stay one step ahead of the game, Pat. I get it. I feel you, dog.
That's how slavery started. One step ahead of the game. You know what I mean?
I feel you, dog.
They would have done it to us first. They really would have. They would have. If they had boats fast, we would be working, and it's fine. So do you believe all the people that think that this quarantine is a way to, like the new sickle cell, a way to take out black people, which I think is hysterical?
No. And that was another thing. And fucking NBC did that on Meet the Press. Like, they managed to make this about like race. They're like, okay, 3 times the black people have it. And you heard my joke on the show. It's like 3 times black people have 3 times the chance of getting it. Don't blame me. I stay 10 feet away from black people when everyone is healthy. But I'm
trying to help the show, man. On the show, they would do that to you.
How about when they
joke.
put 9 bads over me? No. But they literally said, and you know why? Here's what it's like. And we're not saying, it's targeting blacks, but if they had existing health care, if you don't have health care, you're more likely to have a pre-existing condition because you didn't go to the doctor. I'm Italian. I have not gone to the doctor, knock wood, in the past 40 years because Italian people teach you the doctor can only tell you you're sick. And yet I'm not worried about a pre-existing. Actually, that's not fair because I went 5 months ago when I was having some kind of panic attacks because I got health care. And I literally got yelled at by the doctor. You're fine. You're
Right.
fine. I have sick people to tend to. Get the fuck out of my office. You're fine. You know? And that's, I can't, I'm not going to sit here and say, stop bitching if you're black, because that's a terrible thing. But every person is a unique person. And you have to fucking live your own life right now. You have to be responsible for yourself. And in that way, be responsible to other people, you know? And that's why I keep screaming on the show, you get a month. And in a month, we're opening the economy back up. And if you're healthy, go outside. And if you think you're going to be sick, stay inside. And if you're like, well, I'm healthy, but you don't go outside sick because then I'll bring it back to my family. You have a month to build an anti-room or whatever you need so you don't fucking transfer it and you can't fucking bull yourself down. I can't be bothered. It's fucking, and when people say, I've said this, when people, like, remember when fucking the gay marriage was getting all that, and the people would say, and you would cringe at how dumb they were, because they would think they were geniuses for saying, God made Adam and Eve, he didn't make Adam and Steve, and they think that was a brilliant, you'd be like, this guy is a retarded fucking racist cunt, right? Now when people say, you know, people fought wars, these older people fought wars so that we could be free, the least we could do is stay on their couch. No. These people fought wars so that people wouldn't take their freedoms like Hitler was. And let me tell you, anyone that was brave enough to fight a war would be like, look, go outside and live your life. Don't worry about me. They would not be like, oh my God, don't go outside. You could bring this back and kill me. They wouldn't be fucking cunts, okay? Now, I'm sorry if your dad wanted to join the Canadian Coast Guard and he's 88 now, but fucking sanitize your body and go get him fucking delivery pizza. I can't be bothered with it.
Yeah, and those old people, by the way, were supposed to die when they were 73 or 68 or some shit. They're living too old now. You're not supposed to be here to see the results of the war you did. You're supposed to do your war, then fucking die, then let us be the ones bitching about it, saying we knew people in the war.
And by the way, the death rate for the people 70 or older is going to wind up when they finally get the actual denominator. It's going to be under, I guarantee it's going to be, you want Geno's picks, over under 5.5%. Over under. I'm taking the under.
And getting back to the black people bitching thing. Listen, you can bitch. I can understand. No, bitch if you want, but do some research. Do some research. It's not because you're black. I'm poor too, okay? If you are poor, you have a better chance of catching it because you're more susceptible. Most of the essential workers...
We can't all be wealthy like me. Let me give you a tour of my apartment. Yes. There you go. You saw it. That's the kitchen at the end. Right back to you. You were poor. I'm sorry.
Most essential workers are poor. That comes with that job. It's called essential now. It wasn't essential. Driving a bus wasn't cool. Working in a factory wasn't cool. Working 3 jobs at a restaurant serving food wasn't cool or essential. Now it is. Chasing a dream like you and I was cool. Now we found out that was really stupid. That no one in the real world, nobody. I haven't performed since March 14th. That's the longest I've ever gone not being on stage.
You haven't gotten a laugh since mid-January.
Hey-o. No, I did get one.
How bored are you when we don't hang out, Pat? How bored are you when we don't do this stuff?
I've actually, to be sad, this is the 3rd podcast I've recorded today. That's how crazy I'm being. I feel like I've left the house and I haven't. I've been talking to people.
You're a better man than me, dude.
Well, I just felt like if I put a bunch in the can in case we get shut down more, I can just throw them out at any point. But
how come you never, and I know you watch our show, you tweet about it. How come you never call in? Be a guest this week, dude.
Well, I guess you don't talk to Ari. I'll be there May 12th. I'm already on the show. I'm booked.
When?
May 12th. So in a couple of weeks, I'm back.
Call in this week and plug it though.
Okay, cool. I definitely will.
Don't call in randomly. You'll have something to say. Call in when you have something to say and run with it.
I know what to do.
Thank God I'm here to tell you how to do your job that you're so good at.
Thank you for
teaching me.
Thank God for that. Yeah, I wouldn't know what to say to your show. I just broke it down like a fucking fangirl. It's the only show.
You, I fucking love you.
And it's so funny because like I got on the show. I got that in that network. I didn't really watch Kumia. I didn't know about the Compound. My brother has been a fan of Compound Media since not Compound Media, but like Kumia since the Boston days. He went to college there. He listened there. He's followed Kumia forever, loves him. He brought me one time to go watch Kumia there years ago, and that's when Kumia had to go to rehab, so Soder filled in. So my brother was bummed out, so he didn't get to see Kumia. And then flash forward a year later, a comic I know in Boston's like, hey, they're letting me bring another comic. I think you'd be a good fit. You want to sit on the Kumia show? I'm like, I heard he's just political. I don't know anything about that. I didn't know what the show was. I sat in. Everybody thought I was great, and I've gotten to be on 10 freaking times, and it's been amazing. But I watch it when I know the guests because that's a show I enjoy. Dave is amazing on that show. They're all great.
Yeah, Dave is great.
I've started to really enjoy Mike Malice now. You filling in for him was that was insane. That was insane.
Thank you, buddy.
It was great, but it was also like, if you're watching that and you love Malice, you're like, please come back.
I'm a runaway train when I fill in on that show.
Oh, when I watched that, I was like, oh, Dave must be away. It's like he couldn't fill in. But I love Tommy Pope, so I'll watch that show. But like I said, with your guys' show is the only one that it's like, I'm not a comic who's been a guest. I watch the other ones like, oh, I've been a guest. I like watching it because I've been on the show. I watch it like a fan. I love the show. It's one thing I didn't think it'd become my guilty pleasure, man. But I recommend it to everyone. It's just so fucking funny. And for people at Connecticut, a lot of people know you through Johnny Benson, know your comedy. And when I explain to them,
I love Johnny Benson.
But when I get to explain to people that have seen you through Johnny, no, Geno gets to even do more than you saw him do on extreme shows. Geno gets to be 100% himself, and he's not even the most offensive person on the show.
Not even
like,
close.
That's what people are like, holy shit, it's great. And I actually had to become a supporter of the show because when I was a guest on it, breaking the secret, sorry, you gave me and Johnny Benson a password so we could watch it, so I could see what I was on.
Of course.
But with the new app, I couldn't do it anymore because you had to get the new password. So I was like, fuck it, I'll support the cop because I want to watch you guys. So I'm like, all right, I'll get a subscription. But I'm not doing Gum Fridays. Fuck you, getting $100 from a person for Gum Friday. Jesus.
I don't even do Gum Fridays. Don't get me wrong, I'm there filming it, but I'm like, we did an episode. We did 2 episodes yesterday. One was great. It was we had Sam Tripoli on. And, because I've become tinfoil Geno.
You guys wasn't
he runs a tinfoil podcast. Oh, it was incredible. But we did a bonus episode just for the $25 tier Patreon. And it was just me, Figs, and Berg fucking around. And it was great. I mean, by that, I mean, all 5 of us were laughing hysterically. But Berg's like, I can't watch it because he subscribed for the $5 level. He's like, I'm not paying $25 to watch it. I'm like, don't let the fans hear you say that.
Yeah.
But it's worth it. And our fans are our fans are the best. We have the best fans,
They're incredible. Like, I have a Patreon, but your numbers, I have one tier that's $925, and it's called Pay My Rent. And you don't get anything different, but if you do it, you can pay my rent once a month. I don't care.
For $925, Pat Oates will not knock on your door next month saying, I got thrown out of my apartment.
Wait, I won't be looking to be on your couch saying 6 feet away. It'll be fine. But it's amazing that people do and how excited they get. And then quickly, though, how mad they get that their T-shirt didn't come the next day. It's like, what the fuck?
Dude, our T-shirts, like, we're so bummed because our T-shirts are blowing up. But fucking with the coronavirus, whatever warehouse does them shut down. So, like, we came out with a new shirt that fucking we never got. It's called, it's the Woo. We had James Altucher on. He brought it up. I'm like, we're going to have a guy design it. In the middle of the show, he brought it up. He's like, I want to make a Wuhan, look like a Wuhan. He had all these ideas, and one was the Wuhan lacrosse shirt. And it's literally, a bat. We had a guy design it. It's a bat. You can see it on the website, In Hot Water Mon-Thur, Compound Media, go to the shop. And it's, it's a bat with a lacrosse. It says Wuhan lacrosse, but we can't get it now because when you go to order it, you get to the fucking shipping, and it's like, just so you know, you can put this order in, but the coronavirus has shut down the warehouse. And we're currently not processing orders. So it's like, fuck, we have to wait.
But that proves how good your show is because people are forgetting there's a fucking quarantine when they watch your show. They're going to order things and they're so into it. They're like, oh yeah, there's a pandemic. I forgot.
Yeah, you're right. And
insane.
You said, like, you alluded to it earlier, like you were worried it wouldn't be as good. But the thing, when this first kicked in, Berg's wife, thank God, doesn't have a pre-existing condition, but she was on meds for some kind of a, girl thing. And it's like a chemo med. So she's like, I don't want to be around. And Berg's like, she's like, Christine's going down. Christine Meyenberg, great comedian, good friend of mine. Fun fact, I met Christine years ago before I met Berg. And he's like, look, Christine's taking the kid to the in-laws in Delaware. I'm thinking of going. I'm like, go. And I'm like, go, because fans know the shows are better when one of us isn't in the studio. Like when I'm in LA Skyping in, or when because especially Berg, because Berg, even when he's in the studio, 90% of the time he's in that fucking room with Garrett and Steve.
Right.
So I'm like, it's going to be fine. So it worked out great. And now we laugh. We're like, thank God you left when you did. But because we didn't miss a beat. And I told this to my brother. And Walter Kronkite comes up again. Because I said, I said to my brother, because he always checks on me. My brother's the best thing in the world. I talk about him, my niece, but he's like, he was calling and checking. He's like, are you okay? You okay? I'm like, Pete, because he's like pragmatic. I'm like, Pete, I'm fine. It's like, and he believes all the numbers I do. I said, and I'll tell you something else, Pete. I'm not Walter Cronkite, but me getting to sit behind that desk, it means the world to me to be able to do it now. And the fans appreciate it. But I love, like, I'd say I worked hard to get where I did, and I did work hard, but I had no plan. I just fucking had faith in what I was doing, and now I do this, and I don't have to tell you how happy, how blessed I look. And to get to be able to sit behind that desk every day in the middle of this and be like, this is where I am. I don't give a fuck. I said, if God forbid it takes me out, Pete, there will not be a moment where I'm like, I should have gone out in it. No, this is where I have to be, and I love that I get to be there. You know what I mean?
No, 100%. Like, I've tried to explain, and you're the only person that gets it. Though I got to be a guest, like I said, many times. In 1 year's time, I've sat in the other chairs. The day I got to do my pilot, and I got to sit in the big boy chair, the seat that Kumia sits in, the seat that you sit in,
right?
And Malice sits in. I was like, this is, and I thought I'd be nervous, but it was like, it felt good. It felt right. And I also turned and saw sitting in a booth is Garrett. And I'm like, I'm in the best hands in the goddamn world.
Yeah.
And also, to his credit, Eric Nagel walked me through the process incredibly.
Never heard of him. Never heard of Eric Nagel. Never heard of him. E-Rock.
He's a nice guy.
No, he is.
No, but he walked me through everything, and I was like, I wanted to make sure I had everything written right, so they had the run sheets, all that stuff. Even now, he's been helping me with this podcast on his own. But he's been bored. He's like, hey, I'll throw you pointers. I'll listen. He's really helped me do this stuff a lot. But sitting in that chair was the greatest fucking feeling in the world. And then having you run in all drunk during the one recording of my pilot was
I was
beautiful.
happy to be a part of that.
That you don't understand. When you actually afterwards were like, did you mind? I'm like, mind? That made me feel like I belonged. You wouldn't have done that to somebody that you didn't know could handle it or have fun with it. That made it awesome.
The first time me and Berg ever, well, there's a lot of first times, but the first time we ever did our own show, the first time we did In Hot Water, Pat Dixon is in there, and we asked some question, and Pat Dixon walks in with the New York Post, excuse me, and he's like, yeah, it's, and I'm like, and it was the same thing. I'm like, we belong here. We fucking belong, and it's a great feeling.
It's wonderful to have people like that, or like when I was on with Kumia once, and then but Kumia couldn't be there, so Dave was being Kumia, and I was being Dave, and then we were making jokes about black people, and Larry just popped up in the window. We're like, we need you, come in. And it's just, as much as it's a professional show, it's also awesome how much they trust the talent to do what they want to do. They didn't care who my guests were. They just wanted to make sure I knew how to do the hour. It was going to look good, and that was it.
Oh, yeah.
And they trust, like what you guys do, there's got to be times where they're like, someone's got to be like, I mean, one of the people that runs it is a fucking cop, and he's still watching it, and he's going, yeah, this is fine. This is, you guys got it. You're under control.
Yeah. There's times he's like, you did what? And he's like, I don't give a fuck. And he just doesn't care. But getting back to that, sitting in that chair, I couldn't agree more. Like when we, it's such a long story, but long story short, Soder sat in, but when Cunha fucking, like when we were negotiating when all that was going on, and we didn't start till Anthony came back when they hired us officially. Well, they hired us before that, but Berg called me. I'll never forget. I was in LA, and Berg's like, I got great news. He's like, it was after we signed the deal. He's like, I don't know when we're going to start. And then he calls me a week later. He's like, I got great news. Anthony's in rehab. I'm like, what? He's like, hear me out. They're going to have people sit in for him over the next 2 weeks. And they asked us to do it. And the last show, it's such a point of pride. We did it twice. The last show before he came back was me and Berg. But the first time we sat in, and I sat in that chair, and I saw, because I had, like, not a vision board, but I wrote down, my goal was just to have a waterfront apartment, and I am 2 blocks from the East River, and host a TV show. When I sat in that chair behind that mic and looked at the monitor and saw myself in the monitor, I'm like, it's not something I was thinking of till that second. I'm like, oh my God, I'm doing it. I'm doing it. And I never look back. Not like I never look back, but it's like, it's like you're just like, oh yeah, this is where I'm supposed to be. And it's a great feeling.
I never thought about having a show like that, even when I was being a guest on it. And then I made there was a joke thing I kind of said to Ari saying, hey, they should have a show, because Ari gets all these guys, like you say, guests that sometimes don't fit. There should be a show for people on the network that watch, a show that kind of filters the guests to see what show they'd fit in. So let's say like someone came in and I'm the host, and someone comes in and I go, oh, you know what? After some questions, you make sense for In Hot Water. You make sense for Wet Spot. And so and Ari was like, that's fun. Send that to the guys and see what they think of it. And then when they got back, Eric was like, E-Rock was like, hey, that's okay idea, maybe, but we do like the idea of you just trying to do a pilot. So I'm trying to think what they want.
Yeah. And let me say this. Don't overthink it. Like Chrissy, and I'm so proud of Chrissy because Chrissy and Figs were discovered, for lack of a better word, by the network because they appeared on our show and they get it. They're great. So they got that show, but she didn't have a show coming in. So she's like, I'm going to do the wet spot. And I love the wet spot, but you can see it's finding its voice. It's finding, are we porn stars? Are we skids? And they're going to make their way because they're great and they're learning. And that's fine because they have a solid fan base that will sit behind them. But what you do, I don't know, like off the record, and I can say off the record because I'm saying it in public. Like you're a natural fit for the network. Like, and you're you. This is what you are. You don't have to change a thing. Like you're Pat. Like you got the voice for it. You have the and you're just a different fucking feel. You're like just fucking a runaway fucking train right at people, and I love that. You know what I mean? You're like the third base coach. It's like go. I'm Mickey Hatcher. I'm just waving you to fuck in, and I don't care. Yeah, I love it. Going, but like the throw's going by the third baseman, you're like, you got this. Yeah. You got this. They're doing a safety squeeze, and I'm picking them from second. I don't give a fuck. Just come on running now. Yeah, you can make it from second. Wait. But that's a good thing, man. I'm sending Mookie Wilson with both glass eyes running around. I don't care. But like. Now I can't do that because now that I have glasses, there can't be two gay nerds, so I'm fucked. Oh, dude, yeah, that is so funny. Like it happens in threes because in between you and me was Garrett. Yeah. Like Garrett got him too. Like I think he kind of had him, but he committed on because I told you, I went to the doctor like you saw like a couple months ago, and I went. And I'm like, first I went to my regular doctor. I'm like, I'm getting headaches. But He's like, have you tried wearing glasses? And I go like this, I'm trying not to. And he looked at me like I was an insane, why are you trying not to? And I said, I don't know. And he goes, go get your eyes checked. And I go, and they put the ones close up. And I'm like, oh my God, that's better. And then they do the far away. And he does that. I'm like, oh my God, that's better. And he goes like this, you can't see clearly from close up or far away. You need glasses. And we talked about this off air, but didn't you feel the same way when that thing clicked and you could see, you were like, do you need $1 million? Because I will get you cash right now. What was I doing with my life for the past 3 months, right? You're like, what? And once you put them on, you're like, oh, thank God. How much oral do I have to give you? Thank you for the vision. I'm fine with it. But it was, see, I wore glasses as a kid. I kind of did that dumb thing of like, I don't want them anymore and didn't wear them. Right. And weirdly enough, I was watching your show, and when you got them, my thought was, oh, Geno's poor like me, and his healthcare lets him get glasses. Maybe mine, I never looked into it. I just figured I couldn't get them. And then I looked into it. I'm like, oh, I can get glasses. So I did that. And then 2 weeks later, got blood pressure medication. I'm like, oh, I'm dying. I'm dying now. That's fine. But I also, because I have the bifocals, I couldn't, the real reason why I needed them is I tried to use someone's Wi-Fi, and I couldn't read on the side of the fucking box. I couldn't read the Wi-Fi numbers on their box there. And I'm like, I need to take a picture of it and zoom it out just to know what it was. So I was like, I want to be able to read that. Yeah. And now I do the old man thing where I lift my fucking nose up like an asshole and read. But I'm like, oh, that's why they do it. I didn't know what they were doing. I got the transition lenses, not the transitions. Transitions are the sunglasses one. I don't even wear sunglasses, but progressive lenses where it's 3 different things, but you can't even tell. And they're like, is it going to be a problem? Like, I doubt it because I don't have to unlearn bifocals because I never had, like, these aren't my regular glasses. Like, because I don't know if you do this move, but these are just regular cheating 2.0 glass that I wear when I'm on a laptop or like I'm writing. But what was I going to say? It was so unimportant. Now I can't remember what glasses. Yeah. Oh, but when I went, like I don't have healthcare, and when I went, they're like, look, your healthcare doesn't cover this. I'm like, how much is it going to cost? Like, well, $150 for a regular exam, and I'm like, all right. So I sit in, and it happens so quickly. They're like, the guy's like, you can't see from there. You need glasses. So I go in, she tries on these glasses, and I see the frames, and I send pictures of the frames to my friend Molly. I'm like, which one should I get? And she's like, these, boom, boom, boom. She's like, all right, you don't have healthcare. It's going to cost $1,300. And I didn't bat an eyelash, and I'm not rich, but I looked at her, and she was so nice. She's like, it's going to cost $1,300 for the ones you want. And I looked at her, and I said, honey, divide $1,300 by the 40 years I've spent without spending $1 on my eyes, and it's worth every penny. Yeah. And they're like, you can get discount ones, they said later, and like so many people I've talked to me like, just go all out. You went all out, and I have no regrets about it, and knock wood, I've actually taken care of them. So it was worth it. And by the way, when I fucking went to pay out the woman because it was like $450 for the whole exam, the woman was so nice. The reception, she's like, you don't have to pay anything. She's like,
nice.
They let me. I didn't have to pay. She's like, you're paying $13. You're fine. And I'm like, thank you so much. But people are just, people are good people. Like no matter where if you're just good to people, I find they're good back. And that's the other thing that don't you think is coming out of this? It's like so many people are fucking like trying to make this about politics, and it's not. It's not. It's just about being healthy and helping people when you can. But people are like, no, this is about fucking getting Trump out of office, and he fucked up. If you're not mad at fucking China, let me rephrase, the Chinese government and the World Health Organization now, then you're wasting your energy worrying about the upcoming election, because that's the fucking problem right now, if you ask me.
To be fair, I've always hated China. So, like, this isn't hard. Like, I'm good with I like the ones that come here and give me food and fun things. Like,
hand jobs.
Well, yeah, but see, where are those going to go? That's going to be one of the jobs.
I got to interrupt you and say Aaron Berg was right. I bought all these discount cigars. Not discount, like good cigars, but these things called Rocky Patel Mulligans. And he's like, they're you're not going to like, they really are. They're like, they're irregulars. I got to smoke one of the regular ones because you see, I have to like this one every 3 minutes. I've never smoked a cigar or cigarette a day in my life. Well, I haven't drank since the lockdown began.
That's not true. I watched the show. You've said that, but then you said, oh, except for this day, and this day.
Well, I did, but I wasn't hiding from that. Like, I drank the day Kevin Dabrowski's album dropped. I drank that day. And earlier that day, as long as I was drinking, I drank in the studio with Larry. How's this? With Larry Baya and Bill Schultz. How can you not drink with them? One day out of the past like month and a half, I've drank. And I'm telling people, I'm not counting that because I want to get my number up to a good month or two before I fucking backtrack to when I actually did.
Now, I haven't drank in almost 4 years now, and it was.
Why? Did you have a come to God moment or?
Yeah, it actually was. I got back together just for a night with a girl that I hated that I dated for a while. I was at the casino performing at Mohegan. She drove me all the way back. In a 1 hour drive, she drank a case of cider while I drove her car. Finished a case. We got in the house. She passed out. She's telling me, it's one of those like mean people. Like, you're dating her, but she's like, you're not funny. You're not this. She just like shitting on people. And I'm like, why am I around this person? And I'm drinking a little bit. She passes out. We don't even sleep together or anything. The next morning, I walk up to her. I give her a bottle of water. I go, here, you might need this. She goes, I haven't had one of these in 2 years. I go, where do you live? Flint, Michigan? Who the fuck doesn't drink water? So I hand it to her. She drinks it. She just goes, oh, this is all you got? And I went, you know what? I'm not going to drink anymore. Thank you. She's like, what? I go, because if drinking makes me be with you, I don't want to drink. I don't want to attract this. I want to be around negative people. She was my rock bottom. I literally said to her, you have to go. And I'm not going to drink. And I've never drank since. Just being around that kind of person made me go, drinking makes me be around the wrong people. I want to be around nicer people. Fuck it.
Yeah, dude, I say that all the time about women I've dated. I'm like, I was their bottom. Like, they fucking, after a while with me, they're like, you know what, I can do better. And they usually do, thank God.
They all fare
Sarah, her real name is Tara, and I tell people this on podcasts other than ours. Like, I talk to her all the time, and her husband's a great guy. And, if we never broke up, I wouldn't be doing this, and she wouldn't be traveling around the world. She does diving now, and it's like all the women that I've ever dated, I wound up being friends with because they're like, yeah, you didn't want a fucking wife. You wanted to tell dick jokes the rest of your life. You know what I mean? I'm like, yeah, you're right.
Listen, it really is. When we fall in love with comedy, people don't get that, like, it really is a love thing. I think it did cause my divorce for the most part. Like, it really did. It was mutual in that, but it really was. My focus was going to be, I love my kids more than anything in the world, but I was going to love my kids in comedy, and that's all I really had room for at the time. Once I did it, I fucking fell in love with it, and I was going to chase it, and I was going to be poor, and I was going to, like, not be able to pay for things, and I was going to live like a 22-year-old, so I might as well fuck 22-year-olds because I was living like them anyway. They're also awake. They're waitresses. They're awake when I am, and that made sense for a while. But almost same thing. I think we're good starter kits for women. They see us, they have fun. We're their one last fun. Let's hear jokes, do whatever. They get tired of it quick. They're hoping that they can change us and we'll grow up. We try to.
Oh yeah.
But we're still old men in hoodies hanging out, and we don't care. And then they move on and they do better, and it's fine.
Yeah, and it's so true. It's like that's why. And your story, it's like like mine. It's that's why I hate when people are like, I'm gonna try comedy. You don't try comedy. Comedy claims you. It claims your soul. Like it was like the late 90s, mid 90s, a girl I was dating, people would always say, why don't you do stand-up? Because I'm like this all the time. And that's a fact. I'm like this on and off stage. You know that. You're my friend.
Yep.
And people are like, why don't you do stand-up? And I used to say, I don't think I could be funny on purpose. I don't. But then she signed me up for an open mic, and the first time I did it, I crushed. I was not funny at all, but I went up in front of 150 people I knew. So everything I said, they laughed at, and I thought I was hilarious. Yeah. And then I went up a month later in front of no one I knew, thinking I was great, and ate my ass like I deserved to. And in hindsight, now I realize, looking back, it's like a lot of people after that second time would have been embarrassed and quit. The second time, I was embarrassed that I thought it was so easy, And that's when I'm like, I'm gonna fuck you. I can do this. And that's when it claimed me. That's when it stole. I didn't say I can be funny. It's like, fuck you. I can do this. And comedy claims you. You don't fucking decide. You hear stories, and I guess some people do. They're like, oh, I knew when I was a kid. No, fucking it claims most of us. I was talking to Dabrowski about it. Kevin Dabrowski, pick up his album, High on Molly. And he's the same way. He's like, yeah, I was working for, I was writing for a magazine, interviewing people. And, I asked him, have him on the show and ask him, but he got on stage once. He literally had that moment. I can do this. Fuck you. I can do this. And then before you know it, comedy fucks you. It's like, you can't do this. I can. You can't do this. And then you're a month in. It's comedy's like, how you doing? I got you. Do you? And then it's got you. You're like, it's over.
When I started, same thing. I was the funny guy to my friends. Same thing. Always the same person. A buddy of mine wanted me to do it. I was like, I don't even know how to do it. I don't want to do it, whatever. He brought me to a comedy contest at a bar. I didn't know he signed me up for it. I thought we were going to go watch and eat wings and drink beer. Three other people were up there. It was a guy who just lost his job, a fry cook of the bar, and a magician. And they went up. They all sucked, whatever. The judges were a guy who owned the bar, his father, and a girl they were both trying to fuck. And they were sitting at a table, American Idol style, watching it. They announced we have one more comic. They say my name. I look at my buddy. He goes, you could do this. I went up. I shit on the area. I shit on everyone in the place. I just did crowd work, made fun of people, and I won $100. And my friend looks at me and goes, you're better than 3 people. That's a start. And that was the perfect start. Because how
much of that $100 made it home from the bar tab? How much, Pat?
I gave it to him, actually.
Did you really?
That's awesome. Because I turned around and went, that's nuts. And I went home. I went on MySpace that day. And because that's how old I am, and I searched comics in the area, and you probably know her. Linda Belt lived like 10 miles from me. I didn't know who she was at the time. I found her. I said, are there open mics? Where do I go? And she told me this place called Sweet Jane's in Hartford, like guys like Darren Rivera, John Moses, Artie Robb. They were all there. I went there the next day and sucked right away, but I didn't expect to be good because I beat 3 morons in a bar. So I knew I wasn't good, but I knew I wanted to do it again. And I went up there, and I went up first at the open mic, but no one else wanted to go second. So the host just yelled, keep going. So for my first time ever, I did 12 minutes of an open mic. I walked off stage.
That had to feel like an hour.
It was an hour, and it felt awful. And Rick Carino, if you remember him, he's the guy who used to book shows. He grabs me and goes,
I bumped into him years ago. I love that guy. He used to book me. Go on.
Yeah. He goes, so wait, you can do 15 minutes? I go, did I just do 15 minutes? He goes, can you host a show for me this weekend? Because I don't want to host it. I want to headline it. I ran into an area in time when every comic in Connecticut thought they were headliners and no one wanted to host. My first weekend was my first week of comedy. I got paid $50 after making 100, and then I was hosting right away. But I knew I was terrible. I knew there was no reason. But
I know you're terrible now, Pat. Yeah. I'm your friend. I know this.
I was better then. Now that I think I know what I'm doing is awful.
I didn't want to say it.
I appreciate it. I mean, believe me. And if I could have got Aaron, I would have had a better podcast. But he wasn't available.
I'm right here. I can hear you. So hurt me back because you're funnier than me. That doesn't make you a man.
Listen, Aaron was the only one who had to get on good podcasts to promote his album. You didn't need to do anything. I knew you were available. I'm watching you on your live shows being sad with cats.
It's over for me.
Listen, we both can watch ex-girlfriends pose doing yoga on Instagram if we want to. We can do whatever the fuck we want.
Alex's page is 15, her OnlyFans, it's $15 a month. I'm not paying that yet. I'm going to give it another couple months when she's got like a good 40 pictures, and then just subscribe $15 for a month. It'll be worth it. And then just hate masturbate to those pictures. You know, I think it's a good investment.
Are you still subscribed to that old lady when you guys were watching her OnlyFans?
We never subscribed to her, but how insane was that?
Who was that Jewish guy who did it? He was the Comic-Con, and Aaron was so pissed that his album was number one.
Ethan Hirschenfeld.
That was the most Jewish man I've ever seen. Like I've seen Jewish people. Like he literally looked like a bagel. Like he was the most Jewish human being. I'd never heard of him. I was so happy that his album went number one. I'm like, oh, that's nice.
Oh, I looked at, when he said it was number one, you saw Burke say, I'm like, let me say this.
Yeah.
Aaron Burke's one of the funniest people I know. It's driving him insane right now that your album is number one. And he's like, it is. It's still number one. I'm like, it's driving him insane.
Yeah, when I was doing my pilot that day, and then I was going to be on Kumia later, Voss was doing your guys' show. You're taping it early for like a Gum Friday or something like that, and right. For the holiday season. And he was going to be with Berg was doing the Jewish special or whatever it was for the Gum Fridays, and that's when Voss's album had just come out. And Dave Landau's album just came out. And so Voss was pissed because Landau was number one. And Voss goes, that's because you got this Kumia shit. You give me a day, that motherfucker will be gone. I'll be up there. I'm like, you're Rich Voss. What do you give a fuck? You're rich. You're a legend.
Care?
You're a goddamn legend. What do you care if Dave's album?
Funny.
So, hey, Geno, man, I thank you so much. Man. I really appreciate it. This has been a fun hour. Thank you for coming on to give me a little bit of time.
The pleasure's all mine. And hopefully you'll be on the network soon. You're a great fit for it. But definitely. We'll get you on our show in a couple weeks and call in next week. But thank you so much, man.
Thank you.
And when this is all over, we'll have to get together and do a show or something. But yeah, follow us. I don't even have to plug our stuff because you plug it all the time. I can't thank you enough for that, buddy.
Well, because I'm telling you, it's my every morning. I got my girlfriend into it. We watch it together. I get people to. It's become the thing I do every morning. If I don't get to watch it, and I have to, because now I had to take a fucking retail job now because I lost every comedy, every whatever. So I'm working like a part-time fucking asshole thing. Oh, and they're like, "Oh, you're funny. You should be a comedian." It's like fuck you. I don't even want to say it, but
I was back when we were in society.
Yeah, I do local radio in the area, and someone's like, "You sound like the guy who's always on this show," and I'm like, "Yeah, I sound like him, Dick." It's a
wait till your jokes start bombing, and they're like, "Don't quit your day job," and you're like, "You son of a bitch."
I'm like, "Oh, good, they bomb here too. It's not just the comedy club. That's awesome." But when I get home, I'm like, I make sure I watch you guys. It makes me feel like the shit ain't bad. You know what I mean? You're making us all laugh, dude. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, we're getting great feedback from the fans, too. But thank you so much, Pat. It means a lot.
No, it's awesome. Thank you so much for being on.
All right, buddy. Be well, man.
I'll talk to you.